Aaron Richardson won a state wrestling title in 1993, his senior year at Start High School, before going on to play football and wrestle at a collegiate level. Now a medical doctor in Chicago, Richardson is part of this year's African American Legacies Project's Sports Legends of Northwest Ohio Hall of Fame class. Tonight, Mark Coons continues the conversation with Dr. Richardson.
As an African American at Start High School in the early 90s, what were your experiences like?
You know, I was there at a time when there was a transition, when Macomber Whitney and DeVille was closed. So my freshman, sophomore year, I think the number of black students was probably less than 10%. And then when those schools closed, the numbers flipped. I'm not sure exactly, but I would have guessed more like 35, 40%. I was a witness to some unfortunate incidents. I actually had a teammate who spray painted some racial slurs and things on the school, and it was a really tumultuous time. I think everyone getting adjusted to sort of the new composition of the class. I remember having a conversation with that teammate, and he said something like, "Well, you're not like the rest of them," and it just was one of those things that I'll always remember. How I liked him, and I thought he, respected me, and I thought he was a friend, but he unfortunately has some, misplaced anger, and I guess didn't know how to harness it.
Did you feel pressure to work with those types of attitudes?
I was playing 3 sports. I was trying to do my best in school. I wasn't really trying to convince anyone that I was worthy or I was different or, accept me. I really just was trying to do the best I could. But I ran into some of those attitudes. It wasn't often, but it was there.
You went down to Atlanta, played football for a year at Morehouse, but then made the decision to go back to wrestling and transferred to Michigan. Was it the things you've already talked about? Is that what brought you back to wrestling then as a college student?
Well, Morehouse was a great experience, but it was far from home. I did miss wrestling. I was on an academic scholarship at Morehouse, so the money wasn't the issue, but I just felt like I wanted to do a little bit more. And so it's a small school, great academic place, but 3,000 students, and so I was looking to transfer and try to get a scholarship, and it was either going to be Northwestern or the University of Michigan, close to home, great academics. And before I could even look at Northwestern, the University of Michigan made me an offer.
Athletics took you to Ann Arbor, Big Ten champion, made the U.S. wrestling national team or an alternate for the Olympics. What was winning the Big Ten title like for you?
That was, I wish I had enjoyed it a little more, to be honest, because my heart was set on an NCAA title. And I looked at that Big Ten title as just sort of a stepping stone to getting a national title. And I fell short trying to get the national title. But in retrospect, I'm proud that I was able to win that title, because the wrestler who I beat, he had beaten me 3 or 4 other times. That was the only time I beat him, and it was in the finals. Shelton Benjamin, he's in the WWE still. Incredible athlete, but that was the only time I beat him, so it was sweet, but I wish I had savored it a bit more, because I thought, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be going for a national title, and I kind of just blew past it, unfortunately.
Did you ever give any thought to becoming a professional wrestler?
No. No, I talked to, when I was training for the Olympics, Kurt Angle, who won a gold medal and who did WWE. I talked to him at a camp we were both teaching at, and he told me he was on the road like 25 days a month. He had all kinds of injuries. It's a rough lifestyle. But I knew I was going to go to medical school, and it was just, if I made the Olympic team, I had already talked to schools who were willing to give me, a year off, and so that was in the plan from the jump. Just 2 years devote to wrestling. If I make it, great. If I don't make it, great. I still have my plan A.